Hi everybody, it's Jen. Welcome back to my channel, Hallmark Plus More, where we watch and talk about shows, movies, mysteries, Hallmark ornaments, and anything else that floats our boat. So today we're going to be reviewing Tracker Season 2, Episode 7. It stars Justin Hartley as Coulter Shaw. So we're just going to kind of do a review. Before we get into the review, I just want to say thank you so much for everybody who watches and subscribes to my channel. It means so much to me. So thank you. I'm so glad you're enjoying it. So let's just get into it and talk about this episode. So this episode was a little different because he was basically looking for a lost dog, right? So, I mean, he's into missing people or things. And this time it was about a missing dog, which was very heartfelt because the little boy, was getting over the death of his father, and this dog really helped him get through that grief, according to his mother. So, you really just, your heart really went out to this mother and son. So you're really pulling for Coulter to find the dog. And of course, Coulter's Coulter Shaw. He finds everything he's looking for, right? Unless, of course, it's that original case from 10 years ago, Gina Pickett. But he always finds his person or his thing, and in this case, a dog. So very excited to talk about this episode because I really think there was a lot of dynamics to it. And you might have noticed that one of the characters, Max, was a detective on an old detective show, Castle. So I really enjoyed seeing him in kind of this different role. Anytime you see characters pop up and you recognize them from another show, it just kind of makes the show a little bit more enjoyable, at least for me. So I really enjoyed being able to see one of my characters from a show that ended years ago. And especially in this capacity, right? Because he was a detective, and in this case, he's holding up a family at gunpoint and tying them to a chair. So it's like, whoa, okay. Love to see, different actors see different sides of their characters. So that was definitely, more enjoyable for me to see him in it. So kind of like I mentioned, this gentleman, Max, holds up a wife or a mother and a son, ties them to a chair, doesn't burglarize the house or anything, steals the dog, right? So they call the police, and the police come, and they're not really concerned about the dog. I mean, they're concerned about the person who robbed them, so to speak, right? But Coulter's at a gas station, and he hears the boy at the gas station, some teenager, college kid, screaming at this dog. So Coulter, his love for animals, he tries to calm the dog down before he hits him with a broom or whatever, and finds out that, he's a trained dog. He was able to get him to sit. He had a collar. So Coulter was like, you know what, don't call animal control. I'll return the dog, right? So the college kid's fine with that, whatever, right? And then he puts the dog in his truck and goes to pay for the gas. And then somebody breaks his window. So he takes a picture of the tag. So he actually goes to the house. So what's interesting is this dog has been stolen twice now. Once from the house at gunpoint, and then somebody breaks into Coulter's truck to steal him again. So it's like, what is so special about this dog, right? So I thought that was interesting. You know what I mean? Like, why are they trying to get this dog? So you basically find out that he was a military canine. And they are very, very smart. I have a lot of respect for military dogs because they have helped a lot of people. They sniff out, drugs, they find people. So, definitely a very valuable trained dog. So once you find that out, you're like, okay, what did he need him for, right? Because he didn't want to harm the family. He didn't want to rob them. He just wanted the dog. So you find out a little bit more information, obviously, with Coulter and Bobby. They find out different ways. Apparently the tag from the home video, they got an ID on the rental car, and that led them to Max Miller. So basically what you find out is Max was in the military. He was the dog's handler. And the dog's name is Barkley. So he was Barkley's handler. And when he was back in the military, he helped a contractor steal valuable statues right? He helped him kind of smuggle him back into the country. Now, this contractor is a bad guy. David Lawson, he actually killed 2 guards, in smuggling these things out. So what Max did was he kind of had a little bit of a remorse from doing it. He didn't kill anybody. Lawson did, but he helped him since he was in the military, kind of smuggle them out. And then he buried them. And now David Lawson is coming after Max saying, I want those statues. And he kidnaps his wife, Chelsea, Max's wife, Chelsea, and basically says, I'm going to torture her and kill her until you give me these statues. And Max is like, I don't know where they are, right? He buried them. He forgot where they were. So that's why he stole Barkley, was to kind of get that scent, because he's such a smart military dog. So you kind of figure out, from the very beginning, where the dog was stolen twice, once from the house, once from Coulter's truck. Like, why is this dog so valuable? Well, now you find out why. They're this bad guy, Lawson, who's killed 2 guards and is not a good guy, is going to torture and kill his wife unless he gets these statues. So Max is desperate, right? He only has 24 hours. So he figures out where Barkley was sent, because he was a rescue, or he was in a rescue shelter, and that's how the little boy got him. So he broke in there, basically, found out their name, and then went to their house and stole the dog. So you find him in the woods, kind of unburying this treasure. And, obviously Coulter finds him along the way. Coulter finds one of his military buddies, Nate Riggins, and he kind of helps him because he knows Max. And he's like, look, Max isn't a bad guy. We think he helped with these statues, but he didn't, hurt anybody, you know what I mean? And then you found out why he held the family at gunpoint, the wife and daughter, the mother and son, is because his wife was being held captive. So you kind of find out, he didn't want to harm anybody. He did a bad thing by helping them steal the statues. Now he buried them, trying to get out of the situation, and now he's brought back into it because of his wife. So obviously Coulter and his buddy Nate find him in the woods, and they help him with the statues, and then they help him to try to give the statues back to Lawson so they can get his wife. So it's definitely, a bit of a thriller, suspense, because you're trying to figure out what's so special about Barkley, what's so special about this dog, right? And then you find out what's so special about his dog because of the military. So, and he's a great dog, and your heart just falls in love with this little boy. He says, I have $187. Is that enough to find Barkley? And of course, Coulter's like, you know what? That's exactly the right amount. And you're just like, oh, that's so sweet. So, and you kind of know in the end, he's not going to take this little boy's savings, So in the end, when they bring the dog back, obviously he says, I don't need the $187, which you kind of knew. But to see the little boy reunited with Barkley is such a sweet moment. And he actually says, you save that $187 and you buy your mom something real nice. And I thought that was so sweet. Still keep your savings, but your mom's done a lot for you. And she lost her dad, your dad, her husband. So I thought that was so sweet. Coulter has such a sweet spot for children, for animals. He's just a good person. He's just more of a loner, right? And then of course you see Rennie. She helps kind of look into Max Miller and try to find out who he is throughout the episode. And anytime you see Rennie, I just love her character. I love any interaction she has with Coulter. So yeah, she did find out a lot of information and kind of help Coulter, as well as Bobby. Bobby's my man. He always helps Coulter find things. So yes, definitely in the end, it's always a happy ending. He's reunited with his beloved dog, Barkley. Max is reunited with his wife. I'm sure he's going to have charges of stealing the statues, obviously, which is illegal, but also, by, the mother and son breaking into their house at gunpoint and, tying them up. Even though he didn't harm them or take anything from the house, I'm sure that is still an offense there too. But definitely a happy ending in the end. And then in the beginning, when the dog is stolen from the truck, Rennie and Velma, they're like, don't you have a dash cam? Hello. And he's like, no, I never got around to one. So of course, in the end, Velma and Rennie are like, here, this is well overdue. This is something you need. And of course, there's a little Amazon plug there, which I love. I love Amazon because I can get it in 2 days. So they kind of plugged that, which was funny. But he got his dash cam, so I thought that was nice. I'm hoping in future episodes maybe that comes into play, right? But all in all, I thought it was a great episode. The little boy was so sweet. I just loved his scenes. The way he felt about his dog and his mother, going through the death of his father. So very heartfelt. And like I say, anytime I can see Rennie, and like I mentioned at the beginning, if you've ever watched Castle, and you loved it, I fell in love with the characters, and seeing him, who was acting in Castle, as somewhat a bad guy, or not the good guy, so to speak, in this episode was definitely exciting for me to see. It just made that episode that much better. Love seeing characters from other shows kind of pop in other shows. So I hope you enjoyed the episode. I hope you enjoyed reviewing and discussing with me. If there's any shows or movies that you want to watch or review with me, definitely leave it in the comments. I enjoyed this episode. Look forward to the next one. So until next time, bye.